Tonight on Evening, the must-see movies of this summer. Visit Seattle's viral cake vending machine and see why people are lining up for a slice.
I love the idea, and to be clear, I love cake.
And how you can win a Grays Harbor getaway just by sharing your best Northwest escapes.
Welcome to the Bair in Stillicum. I'm St. Brian, and we are here to get a taste of the sweet life at this friendly and historic location.
I want people to feel comfortable here.
Hi.
I want them to feel like if they're having a bad day, they can come in and hopefully they leave here with a smile on their face.
The Bair has been a gathering place for the Stillicum community since 1895, when Jane Bair's grandfather built the structure that would house the post office, soda fountain, and his pharmacy in what was then a boomtown.
Oh, Stillicum was the port. Tacoma hardly existed, Seattle hardly existed. Stillicum was the port.
This is a restaurant that doubles as a living museum. One wall is filled with old tonics, like sore throat remedy Creomulsion, made with creosote.
I've actually had people come in and they remember it. They remember taking it. It smells terrible.
Today, everything smells delicious. The Monte Cristo, the biscuits and gravy. And at this refurbished soda fountain, you can actually order something called a Green River.
It's kind of a sour apple, lemon, lime mixture. It's bright green. It looks like it could be toxic, but it's delicious.
There are far too many buildings like this getting torn down, but the Bair, like Stillicum itself, has found a way to keep history alive and make visitors of all ages feel at home.
My favorite is her Reuben sandwich for lunch, to die for.
The Bair is open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday, and we're going to take a look around Stillicum a little bit more later in the show. But first, it's going to be another summer of superheroes and super stunts at the movies, and it all starts next week. Here's a look at some of the most anticipated movies for older audiences.
Ready, and 3, 2, 1, go!
That's Florence Pugh calmly stepping off the second tallest building in the world.
You two are like neither of us are ever gonna have a day like this ever again in America.
Just one of the stunts in Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts out May 2nd. The movie is about a group of misfit heroes who have to team up to save the world.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
There are easier ways to fly in a biplane, but you can trust Tom Cruise to wing it on Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which is out May 23rd. Brad Pitt drives at speeds up to 180 miles per hour in F1. And just to make sure you wish you had a seatbelt, Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski mounted 7 cameras on the cars.
It's always better to overachieve than underachieve.
Oh my God.
And boy, did we overachieve.
F1 is out June 27th.
What the hell are those?
They're helping the Mosasaur defend territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what you just said is good.
Promising to put the scares back into the franchise, Jurassic World Rebirth opens on the 4th of July weekend.
We've really gone back to basics to imagine yourself in this circumstance on this Jurassic Island.
It follows Scarlett Johansson and her team as they try to gather life-saving genetic material from, let's just say, reluctant dinosaurs.
Maybe we should make it quick.
Will this be the summer of Superman? Writer, director, and dog owner James Gunn brings his quirky heart and humor to this reboot, which stars David Corenswet as perhaps the most human Man of Steel ever filmed. Stop. Good dog. The trailer is already the most watched in Warner Brothers history. good sign for the movie, which comes out July 11th.
Whatever life throws at us, we'll face it together.
With the Fantastic Four First Steps, Marvel Studios takes another crack at one of its oldest franchise, this time with new stars and a bigger emphasis on the family dynamic. The movie comes out July 25.
Who are you?
Frank Drebin, Police Squad. The new version.
And finally, if you're wondering where to find laughs this summer, you'll have to wait until August 1st for Liam Neeson in The Naked Gun.
That looks like fun, but the summer movies of 2026 might be even more memorable. We've got Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey starring Matt Damon. We've got an Avengers movie and an as yet untitled sci-fi film from director Steven Spielberg. Next week, we're going to look at the most anticipated kid movies of this summer. But right now, it is time to vote in the Best Northwest Escapes Viewers Poll. And just by voting, you could win an escape of your own. It is a time-honored springtime tradition, hitting the road and exploring and voting for your favorite places in the 29th annual Best Northwest Escapes. Go to king5.com/escapes to vote for your favorites. Each vote enters you to win a Grays Harbor getaway to Seabrook, Westport, and Ocean Shores worth $5,000. There are 50 categories. That means 50 chances to win a vacation on the coast. Vote for your favorite Best Northwest Escapes right now. To get you in the mood, here is a getaway for International Dark Sky Week. Fans of astronomy say there is no better night sky view than the one that can be found just a little bit north of the Columbia River. Here's Jim.
Beneath a sky untouched by the light of urban sprawl, Goldendale Observatory is a window to the universe, built purely for the joy of discovery.
There's something about this, and it surprises people, and it kind of shakes them out of their mundane lives.
Troy Carpenter is the observatory administrator.
So for me, it's important because it's one of the few things in life where people go, wow.
More than 50 years ago, 4 amateur astronomers came looking for a place to house their custom-made 24.5-inch telescope.
And Goldendale became the donor town because the town expressed willingness to build a facility around it and use it for public education.
It's one of the largest telescopes in the world available to the general public.
A telescope of that size would ordinarily be used for research.
Wow.
It's very special that when you look through the eyepiece, the photons of light you're seeing actually came from space.
In 1981, the site became a state park.
And it's been a state park ever since.
The observatory recently underwent a major renovation.
We made some big changes. We actually tore the whole place down.
Now, the reconstructed facility welcomes 30,000 to 40,000 visitors a year.
Visitation has literally quadrupled.
Each reserving their spot for a one-of-a-kind journey through the universe.
We're not just looking at the stars here, we're actually learning about them and the objects that we look at through the telescopes. Learning and knowing. Astronomy is enormous because the universe is enormous.
The Goldendale Observatory is open to the public, but by appointment only. You do not want to make that long drive and then get turned away at the door, so call ahead.
Up next, the long lines and sweet treats at this innovative vending machine in Ballard.
Normalize getting a cake for yourself on a Friday afternoon.
And later, the Seattle Tree imparting wisdom to anyone who needs some. Best Northwest Escapes is sponsored by unforgettable Grays Harbor County.
Welcome back to the show from one of Washington's most historic towns.
In Stillicum, the closest you get to a traffic jam is when it's time to board the ferry to Anderson Island. But at one time, this scenic town rivaled Seattle and Tacoma as the most promising port in the Washington Territory. Tall ships came from San Francisco in the 1860s and stopped on their way to Victoria. At the Historical Museum, we learned why Stillicum calls itself the Town of Firsts. It's home to Washington's first library, brewery, and jail. It was also here in the 1930s a man named Charles Turner became the state's first frog farmer. Yeah, he raised them for meat. Really. Stillicum is the kind of friendly small town where you'll want your visit to last.
All right, now, if you ever find yourself in Seattle's Sunset Hill neighborhood and you just happen to be craving a big slab of cake, we've got the place for you.
Every Friday and Sunday, a line forms along this sidewalk in Ballard.
I'm here for cake.
I'm here for cake.
I came here on Sunday at about 11:30 and they were all sold out. So I figured today I'm going to be first in line.
These people aren't waiting for a bakery to open its doors. They're waiting for this.
My name is Nicole Conley. I own Butter Half Cakes and I operate the Micro Bakery, which is a self-serve cake smart fridge.
Built on a wagon frame and painted pink, Nicole's cake vending machine serves joy by the slice.
Thank you. Here's some of my slices. There's that chocolate Nutella one. This one is chocolate sponge with hazelnut praline buttercream and Nutella. Here's my olive oil and brown butter. This week I have a vegan option, vanilla sponge with lemon gelée and blueberry buttercream.
There are whole cakes too, all of it baked and decorated by Nicole. All of it worth waiting in line.
Last weekend we sold out in under 30 minutes, so the excitement is definitely real.
At 11 a.m. sharp, cake fans make their way to the cake coop with their phones out. They scan the QR code, choose their slice, pay the price, and the door unlocks automatically. Each purchase, a small celebration.
Hazelnut. So excited. Today's my birthday. I'm very excited to treat myself with some cake with my friend.
All right. Normalize getting a cake for yourself on a Friday afternoon.
The cake vending machine also has a sweet side effect.
One of my favorite things about this is just embracing the community aspect, getting all the neighbors out, folks are chatting, everyone's excited because they leave with a piece of cake.
Yay! Yeah.
Food is love in the house we grew up in, and it's just such a neat sense of community, and I love the idea. And to be clear, I love cake.
All right.
One of each of the three?
Yep.
All of the cake sells out before 11:30. But another community of cake lovers will line up here again, as long as Nicole keeps stocking her magic fridge.
That's a really nice cake. Thank you for this.
So much enjoyment. The cake vending machine typically opens at 11 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, we all live such busy lives that our days can blur together until one event actually alters everything. There's a Seattle portrait artist who can pinpoint the moment her life changed forever. It was a Friday, 2016, on Mount Rainier.
What I love the best is just letting my inspiration come to me.
After decades in the corporate world, Veronica Sauer now leads the life of a free spirit.
I throw down paint.
An artist who lives and paints.
I like big, bold brushstrokes.
In the moment.
Sometimes call it on my own abstract fusion because I'm fusing the color into a realistic photograph.
At Catalyst Fine Art Gallery in Kenmore, we can see her portraits. They're immediately recognizable. Joni Mitchell, for instance. And yet, up close, revealed to be layers and layers of often bright, cheery colors.
I thought if I'm going to do anything, I might as well stick with something I know and I love and that brings me joy. Because when you have an injury like that, it can be quite depressing.
The injury happened on a mountain bike ride. Veronica crashed, breaking her leg, ankle, and foot in 6 places. Laid up, she returned to a lifelong passion, painting.
Having that creative outlet was so important, and that color was like getting flowers, delivered. You can't be unhappy when you're working with color.
A favorite subject is Seattle native son Jimi Hendrix. There's already a portrait in Veronica's home. Now in her studio, another Jimi emerges.
And this is all feeling. It's that intuition. You can't plan for stuff like this sometimes. I like this, see how his hair is flying out? I'm gonna keep that. I'm not gonna paint over it.
This is how Veronica breathes life and personality onto canvas.
And see how this color is coming through? That's what's really exciting to me.
Up close, it can be a lot to take in, so Veronica often takes a seat to ponder
from a distance.
I really like how his hair is on fire. I don't want to touch it too much. So it's just kind of a fun perspective to be able to sit way back and look at it.
Perspective. Veronica can share some of that when it comes to reinvention.
You have to be bold. You have to take it one step at a time, put yourself out there. One person gave me great advice. He says, don't do all the easy stuff first, because then you're just left with the hard stuff.
Such a colorful path may not be for everyone, but Veronica says just being present is a great first step. Such colorful work. During the pandemic, Veronica had to reinvent herself one more time. She started doing pet portraits. Here are just a few examples. You can see more of her work on her Instagram page, and we've got a link to that from our website.
Up next, sage advice from a tree. And later, the largest private marina on the West Coast.
Wow!
Local stories make a difference.
I want to check that out.
With the power to enrich lives, strengthen communities, and make us smile. Evening is made possible by Primera Blue Cross. Primera Blue Cross, always in your corner.
Welcome back to the show from the Bair in Stillicum. If you're in need of some words of wisdom, head on over to the Magnolia neighborhood. That's where we found a unique tree with a whole lot to say. Photojournalist Diane Lewis-Torrey takes us there.
This is the Wisdom Willow. It's a Burning Man project in Magnolia. This was actually in our camp at Burning Man this year. The idea is that you pluck a leaf of wisdom from the wisdom willow if it resonates with you, and I don't know, then you got a bookmark or a bracelet. Your past does not excuse unethical or immoral behavior. You know, it just forces you to get out of your kind of rut of thinking that we all get into and, you know, ponder life in a slightly different way. Deep listening will not comfort you. It will comfort the one who needs to be heard. Like, oh, Buddha, wise person. Once you see it fluttering in the breeze, I think it just encourages people to like stop and ponder.
Yeah, the tree is interesting. I like those sort of spontaneous kinds of art installations.
Grief shared is grief diminished. Yeah, that's true. Especially considering the collective grief that we've all dealt with. There's a crack in everything. It's how the light gets in. Yeah, some of them are deep, some of them are heavy. If you're feeling broken, holiness is never far away. Make art, not war. It's better to put positive vibes out there than all the, I don't know, negative baloney that we're constantly bombarded with. Make hope contagious.
Yeah, it makes it interesting. It's a different kind of tree. I love how it lights up at night. It's definitely art, and I think we do need more art in the world.
Some say stop and smell the roses. I say stop and pick a leaf off the wisdom willow. Kumbaya. Some real hippie baloney.
If you'd like to visit the Wisdom Willow Tree and maybe get some wisdom for yourself, it's at Barrett and 23rd Avenue West in the Magnolia neighborhood.
Up next, explore the West Coast's largest private marina. Now in our 39th season, Evening shares local stories that make our community shine. Thanks to support from PEMCO Insurance. PEMCO empowers the Northwest to prevent the preventable. Learn how at PEMCO.com.
How about that? I'm your Huckleberry. That is going to do it for us from the Bair in historic Stillicum, open every day of the week but Monday and Tuesday. We're going to leave you now with the sights and sounds from Elliott Bay Marina. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.